Hello everybody, and welcome back to Styx. Today, as always, got some work to do. Now, I've made a couple small updates to the base since we last spoke here. I went ahead and made a small expansion to this little outdoor pen here. It's still made out of wood. You know, we still have a massive project ahead of us as far as crafting up a better place for our animals to live goes. I also tamed Ranganui here, as you can see. A second Moa here for us to have in our base, just in case the worst happens, and, you know, just as a way for Tutu to get a little well-deserved rest in between mining missions. I went ahead and tamed a second Moa. We could potentially bring another Moa out from Prometheus that we already have tamed and leveled up, but I figured it would be nice to have another desert-specific Moa. Coupe on the other planet, you know, he has skills that aren't exactly suited for the desert, so I figured leveling up a brand new Moa would be the way to go here. So that's going to be how we do the Moas. We're going to have two of them out here for now, and of course we're going to need a new place for them to live. As far as upgrades in the base here goes, I could see that I crafted up a few more large batteries here. These are fully stored right now. Just the 3 solar panels that we have are more than enough to get these batteries charged up during the day. I also made ourselves an oxygen synthesizer, as you can see, no longer having to spend our precious oxite to fuel our canister. And, you know, where these batteries are now placed, this is where our kitchen used to be. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the new kitchen that we have, as well as a little bit of changes that we made to the farm here. Let me first show you the farm. Pretty much everything is exactly the same except for one little addition here. So I don't have the iron crop plots, I just have the normal wooden ones right now, and if you want a really quick and easy little way to get your crops watered, you can place just a single sprinkler above your crops like this, toggle this thing on, and it will water every single one of these crop plots within this range here. So as you can see, you know, even the ones all the way on this side are getting watered. The water debuff only lasts 9 minutes, so pretty much every time you come back to the base, just quickly come down here, flip this thing on, it'll stay on for a few seconds before automatically shutting off. That will water all of your crops for you, and they'll get a nice growth boost that way. And you do not have to get the iron crop plots watered up. It's just 300 water, very cheap way to get your crops watered. I have a few more storage chests over here for seeds and such, and then over here is our brand new kitchen. Nothing super elaborate for the time being, but of course we had to get all of our beautiful MXC preservation crates lined up here. We aren't even using all of these currently. You know, we have all of our meat in this one and then some vegetables in these two over here. These two are still empty. And then over here I have a bunch of foods that I crafted up so we can have some really nice food buffs going for us whenever we need. Of course, I went ahead and upgraded everything to the marble variant, so we have a marble storage here, the marble kitchen bench, and of course the plumbed sink to give us a little bit of a boost whenever we want to go to sleep, get some extra sleep quality there. But that is how the greenhouse and kitchen area down here is shaping up so far. I went ahead and made a small little extension down here just so you can see the space that we're working with. So we still have a ton of space down here. We can get another layer of crops down beneath that one beehive over there, and then this whole area down here is open real estate. There is a deep iron node right here. I'm not sure if I want to use this or just keep using the one that we're currently using behind the base. But if we were going to use this space, what I think I would do is place just a whole layer of flooring all the way across, maybe have some of this little bit of grass and stuff peeking up through it, have a nice little sort of garden area, a nice sort of place for us to sit down here and enjoy the beautiful desert vista. I think this would be a nice place for just a sort of garden out indoors relaxation area. Those are the only real additions that I've made to the base so far, and I don't know what happened to the wall here. They haven't taken any damage really. I think that's probably just a glitch that the wall just disappeared. So I'm gonna have to make up another glass wall there for sure. Thankfully we have a spare one here. Alright, well that's a little concerning. Hopefully more walls don't just suddenly disappear on us like that. But yeah, that is the state of the base. We also, of course, have a nice carved wooden bed here for ourselves. Get a little bit of a sleep coziness bonus, but yeah, for now, that's the state of the base. And as far as the major projects go, what I think I want to focus on today as far as building goes is let's go ahead and work on expanding our tower a little bit. I want to see how far I can push this before we start to lose stability. And once we kind of get a feel for how far we can push it up before we lose stability, maybe we do it one floor lower than that, and that way we can kind of expand outward a little bit without losing stability. We'll probably have to extend these corner pillars up into that floor as well. But I think that is going to be the plan for now. So let me go ahead, eat a little bit of a snack, and let's get to work doing a little bit of tower building. Alright, so let's go ahead and break out the roof here. Hopefully we don't get any storms interrupting us. But we're going to be using this 3x3 space here as initially planned. Let's go ahead and get a staircase right here. And then we'll keep wrapping this as high as we can get it with our current materials. Alright, so it looks like this is about our height maximum without additional support, so let's go ahead and put in our concrete pillars on the corners and see if that gives us any additional height that we can build here. We're getting some pretty good height here, and I do believe we still have green stability all the way up here, so we can push this even a little bit farther, I believe. So let's go ahead, get a few more ramps here, and see just how high we can push this thing. Alright, we are quite high up here at this point. I think this might be the height that I want to try and build our next floor at. I think that is a pretty nice height, and the view from up here is also very nice. So I think, you know, we'll have the staircase kind of open up in this direction. Maybe we have a nice window facing out when we get to the top. But I think that is the height that we're going to work with here. And we still have green stability from what I can tell. Let me try and place some more floors up here. And yeah, we can extend this even outward in this direction, and we're still green, so we have quite a bit of stability to our names here. Very, very cool. Now it's just a matter of getting all of the walls that we're going to need. I kind of like the idea of continuing the pattern from the front, where we have just this stripe of... we have a storm coming in, of course. Let me actually seal up the base before the storm gets here. For the time being, I don't have the concrete on me. We wait out the storm. Let me just actually seal up the base here and make sure we don't take any interior damage. I'm out of materials for sealing off with full concrete, but should be good with the wood just as a temporary measure. We're going to have to craft up a ton of glass and concrete, because I think what my plan is going to be is I want to continue this stripe of concrete in the middle with glass on both sides. So it'll be a glass wall, a concrete wall in the middle, and then a glass wall, and we'll continue that all the way up to the top. Or potentially what we do is just a full concrete followed by the stripe glass look. I'm going to do a little bit of experimentation. It's, regardless of what we do, it's going to take a massive amount of materials, and we're going to have to wait out the sandstorm regardless of what we choose to do anyways. So let's just go ahead and get to work crafting some of the stuff while we wait out the storm. Alright, and here is how the tower on top of the base is shaping up. I think that's a pretty good height for it. I don't know if I want to make it much taller than that. I think it's the symmetry of the whole thing might start to get out of whack, and the number of materials required is just going to get absolutely insane. But I kind of like it with that one stripe of concrete up the middle, and I do think I want to do glass on both sides all the way up. I think that will look pretty cool for the tower, so we're going to need a lot of glass. But that's how it's looking on all sides. We're going to do the glass all the way up on the tower. And then we should have the support to build outwards at least one square from where we are here. As you can see, I'm out one square from the 3x3. We should have a nice sizable foundation for a cool, lovely little room up here. I might leave this with the concrete floors, or I might replace it with something a little bit nicer for interior, like interior wood. We'll have to see how that looks. Because if we do use the interior wood up here, we will be able to see the underside of the interior wood, which I think that actually might look kind of cool. Interior wood kind of at the peak of this sleek, stylish little room all the way up there. That could be pretty cool. But yeah, that is how the tower is shaping up on the giant factory base. It's kind of almost like a smokestack sticking out of it. I think that's pretty cool looking. Of course, we're going to have to get some guard railings on the side of this. It will be very dangerous otherwise. But that's another cool feature of this, is you can kind of just look straight up and see all the way to the top of the staircase. I really like that. At this point, we have literally 0 glass walls to our name, so we're going to have to craft up all of the glass that we have into walls, and then probably get a ton more silica from our drills in order to craft up even more walls and even more glass, because we're going to need it for this tower here. For the time being, I'm just going to seal up our base here in case any more sandstorms come through while we're out. Let's go ahead and grab up a ton of silica from our drills. Hopefully we have a nice little supply. Our barn is getting battered out here. We're going to have to repair this as well. Let's go ahead and hit up our drills. Might as well check in on our biofuels while we're out there. Let's go ahead and get everything we can carry and bring it on back to the base. As I'm coming back from the distant silica drill, we can actually see the top of our base over the canyon wall now, so that's super awesome. The tower is tall enough to be visible all the way from over here. Really, really cool. And as we crest the horizon here, we will get the view of the beautiful tower. Really looking forward to how this is going to look once it's completed. That is looking absolutely awesome. That is how the base is looking from this angle on the other side of the desert. It is looking super cool. It's like a desert ziggurat or something over there. Really, really awesome. Super pumped to see how this thing looks once we're finished constructing it, because I think it's going to be really awesome. Now, one of the other things I want to do while we're waiting for all of our ores and glass and stuff to smelt up is, we have a new mount here, Ranganui, but we don't have a saddle for him yet. Don't look at the inventory, we definitely don't have a saddle for him yet. The saddle that I want is the Sandworm Scale Saddle. I think this thing will look really cool. So I'm looking at the map and I'm seeing the sandworm over here right now. So we're going to have to kill this guy for an achievement eventually. We want to 100% complete this game. We're going to need all the achievements. So let's go ahead, buff ourselves up, and take care of a sandworm real quick. I am going to bring my Moa with us. 2-2. He's going to be at a safe distance while we take care of this. Go ahead and pop a vitamin real quick, and then we'll go ahead and pop a poison pill as well once we're over here. Should be able to keep our Moa at a safe distance. He is lurking right over there. Let's go ahead actually and park our Moa in the connecting tunnel. He will definitely be safe there, and then we'll go ahead and take care of this big beast. He's already aggroing on us. Hold your horses, buddy. We'll be back in just a second. Spitting at us. Very rude. Alright. I'm going to leave 2-2 right there. Let's go ahead and pop a poison pill here. And let's get this work taken care of. Should have plenty of ammo. The thing about the drops from the sandworm is I believe every time you hit him or damage him, that is when he drops a scale on the ground. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for all of his scale drops. But let's head on over here. Get him to pop out of the ground again. Give us a few free shots at the beginning. So I do have armor penetrating bullets, so I can just kind of pepper him with bullets in this way, but I'm going to get a lot more damage going for when he opens his mouth. Oh. Oh. Just out of the range of his attacks there. Oh, there we go. Sandworm down. Very beautiful. Let's get all these scales, make sure we get them. So yeah, pretty much every time you damage him, I believe he drops a scale. Get them before they decompose, because they're already decomposing. That was a rock. That all kind of looks the same. I think that might be all of the sandworm scales. Oh, there's one more next to his mouth here. Oh, we got a cougar. Take care of that guy. And then I think if we use a pickaxe on the corpse, it might drop some more. I might be lying, though. Yeah, I think you just get the sandworm scales from when you're attacking him in the battle. But we did get a decent chunk. We have quite a few stacks of them. That was a pretty easy fight. You know, once you're geared up with a slug-filled shotgun, you're going to be able to tear through that guy. But yeah, with that taken care of, we now have the materials we need to get Ranganui his beautiful new sandworm desert saddle. Let's get that thing crafted up. And yeah, because we had that poison pill equipped as well, we were able to kind of tank the poison blasts without having to worry about poison damage. Just making sure that's a rock and not a scale. They really do kind of look the same. But yeah, very quick and easy fight. Oh, there is one more over here, almost halfway decomposed. Good thing we double checked. And that has got to be everything. Alright, so we have quite a few sandworm scales. We can definitely craft up that saddle. Make sure we unclog our water wheels as well. Those things are clogged. Alright, and here we go. One sandworm scale saddle. Let's go ahead and craft that beautiful thing up. Absolutely awesome. Let's see how this looks. Very cool. Ranganui looking nice and stylish with the new saddle. There is kind of like a weird shadow effect on the back of it, but I do like the design of the actual saddle part of it. It looks pretty cool. Very nice. We have our nice tusk saddle for 2-2. That's his bread and butter favorite saddle there. And then the sandworm scale for Ranganui. And Ranganui is slowly leveling up here. I haven't spent any of his skill points yet, but I think we are going to put him into Planeswalker as well. Of course, go for the stamina and the movement speed, and then Planeswalker. I think that's going to be the plan for him. But we're just going to let him level up passively, eating his fill of all the food he can get in our rickety little wooden shed for the time being. We will upgrade that in the future once we have a lot more materials, but for the time being, you know, we have a decent amount of silica and stone for some concrete as well as glass that we're cooking up over here. So it is just a matter of time getting all these materials processed into what we need, and let's go ahead and get the next stage of the tower crafted up here. So we're going to need 12 glass walls per side of the tower. That's 48 walls, which is 720 glass, 240 epoxy, and 96 iron. So quite a bit of material. I'm going to have to figure out exactly how much glass I have and how much we're going to need, but epoxy, we definitely have a decent supply. And the reason I have so much of this is I went and did a couple more mammoth kills. Thank you to the comments section for letting me know that there are actually mammoth spawns up here on this sort of shelf area. This is much closer than this other Arctic area over here. And what I'm going to do is maybe do one more mammoth run while we're waiting on all of these materials to smelt up for us. Let's go ahead and I'll show you my sort of technique. What I do is I bring a mortar and pestle as well as just a simple little shack's worth of materials so we can put down the mortar and pestle and turn the mammoth hut tusks into bone powder. That way we can, if we spot multiple mammoths, we can kill maybe 2 mammoths if they're out there and come back with all of that beautiful bone powder. So there we go, just the simple little wooden pieces and a mortar and pestle. This will be all that we need to crush the bone powder out in the field. Let's go ahead and hop on 2-2 here. Let Ranganui level up a little bit more before we actually take him out on an adventure, but let's head over to the mammoth area and see if we can't get lucky with the mammoth spawn for all of the epoxies we're going to need for these glass walls. Alright, so here we are in the Arctic, much closer. It took, just a couple minutes to get over here as compared to maybe like 10 minutes or longer to get to the far one. So definitely pleased we have this nice close potential spot to farm epoxies. But up on that shelf right in front of us, that's where the mammoths actually spawn. So I'm going to go ahead and climb up there. There is a slanted ledge that we can kind of just climb up on the MOA without building a staircase. So that is super convenient. Let's go ahead, head on over there, and see if we can't get ourselves a mammoth kill or 2, if we're lucky. We also have to be careful of polar bears. They do also spawn up on the shelf, so keep an eye out for polar bears while you're there, as well as giant scorpions. Those also tend to spawn up there. But yeah, just right here, you can kind of just climb up on this rock ledge if you're sprinting, and do a couple of jumps, and you should be able to get up to the top. And right out of the gate, we have a mammoth. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to leave my MOA parked right here. Let's go ahead and eat a little food because we're a little hungry. And let's go ahead, see if we can't sneak past this scorpion here. We might have to take him out as well, but we already have a big mammoth right over there for us. That is a great sign. There's 2 shots to the head, and we got ourselves a mammoth. Get our taxidermy knife out here. Keep an eye out on those scorpions. Grab one of these here, and then let's go get our MOA for the second one. And there is already another mammoth. Alright, perfect. So I can show you guys the tactic that I have here. I'm going to go ahead and just build a simple little structure here. There we go. And then if we place the mortar in the corner here, we are able to take our mammoth tusk and process this into 400 bone powder just like that. It takes 15 seconds in the mortar and pestle. Super quick and easy. Let's go ahead and hop on our MOA, make this a little bit quicker. But yeah, you just need a simple little structure to place a covered mortar and pestle down, and you'll be able to turn all these into bone powder. You can only carry the 1 mammoth tusk now. They did change it, so it's a heavy cargo, so we would technically only be able to do 2 mammoth tusks at any trip all the way out here. But with the mortar and pestle, we can just fill our inventory with all of this bone powder and get ourselves even more mammoth kills while we're out here. Make more use of our time. So let's go ahead. This mammoth has very kindly waltzed on over here. Let's get another one for our trouble. Absolutely beautiful. And there's another 200 epoxy. So that's 400 epoxy just for this one trip over here alone. The problem is, inventory space at this point is a little limited. We could probably process 1 more. But unless we see another mammoth, there's no real point in processing the other one into bone powder while we're down here. So let's just take another look. If we see a third mammoth, if we get that lucky, then we can process these two into bone powder as well. Do a quick lap around the shelf here, see if maybe if we can get one more mammoth. And what do you know, we have a third mammoth here. Wow. So yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, we have the 2 tusks on our person right now, so we're gonna have to chop both of these down into bone powders. And then we'll be able to carry the 2 as full tusks all the way back. I don't even know if we have the inventory space for 6 tusks worth of bone powder at this point, but let's give it a shot here. Because I did expand my Moa's inventory to the max, so we'll be able to carry at least some of it with us. But we'll definitely be able to get these last 2 tusks as well as all of the powder that we can fit into our inventory. Alright, and there is that mammoth. Let's go ahead and get ourselves 2 more tusks here. Absolutely beautiful. Get 1 on our Moa here, and then 1 on our person. Very nice. And then let's go ahead and grab up our little structure and all of that bone powder that we can fit into our inventory. I'm going to stick as much of this into my Moa's inventory as I can. So fortunately, bone powder is very light, so I can fit, you know, a full row of stacks into his inventory there. And then we do have enough space, so that is 600 epoxies worth of bone powder in that one quick little trip. Very close to the base, very simple to take care of. The mammoths, they say on the wiki that it's like a 15% spawn chance, but I seem to find mammoths every single time I come out here. You know, that is the beauty of this little Arctic shelf right here. That's the strategy that I've been using for epoxy. Just bring a little makeshift shelter to craft down some of those tusks into bone powder, and you'll be able to carry all of that bone powder as well as the 2 tusks you could normally take in your run. So we have 600 brand new fresh epoxy to our name. Our Moa is breaking its feet on the climb down, but yeah, I'm feeling good. That is a super great strategy for epoxy here on Styx. If you're near an Arctic region, definitely find where your local mammoth spawn is and be sure to farm that whenever you need epoxy. Alright, and we have made it back to the base, looking absolutely majestic there in the night sky. Let's get these epoxies crafting up. And just like that, massive amount, 600 more epoxies to our name. And we already had, you know, 500 in the bank, so a ton of epoxies now. Should be way more than enough than we need to make the glass for our tower. So let's switch over to the crafting character, get all of this glass turned into brand new walls. We have some more glass that's still, finished smelting up. We're doing our platinum now. So hopefully we should have enough glass. If not, we're gonna have to cook up even more here. Alright. We finished up all of our crafting on our crafting character. We have our 49. I think we only need 48, but I made 1 extra just in case another disappearing act happens. But let's go ahead, get these popped into our inventory, and start placing the walls on our beautiful tower here. There we go. The tower, at least the center part of the tower, is pretty much complete. Let's take a look at that from the camera mode here. That is looking super awesome. We're gonna have to complete the pillars on the 2 corners there. You can see it's not complete yet, but man, does that look cool. Maybe we put some windows or something on the bottom layer of that. I did kind of want to have a little bit of separation from the glass with the 1 layer of concrete there. But that is looking super awesome. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now, of course, it's just a matter of getting our top floor set up and getting our bedroom set up in there as well. But for the time being, that is the majority of the grind, at least getting all the glass and concrete that we need. minus those pillars. But yeah, let's just get those last few pillars set up as well over here. That is how the staircase is looking from the center of it right there. Really, really awesome looking. We're going to have to get a ton of handrails crafted up now as well, but man, that is really cool. I am loving the tower. And I think this is probably the perfect height. You know, I don't want it too much taller than this. This will be just good enough for our purposes here. There we go. Now the concrete pillars are all the way up the corner as well. Super awesome. Really, really happy with how this is shaping up so far. We're going to need to get a little temporary room set up here just to make sure the whole base is sealed from the elements. So let's get a few walls and ceilings in place while we're here. For the time being, we're just going to keep it as the little 3x3 room. And we're going to have to get a lot more glass, I feel like, crafted for this room up here. That is going to be a necessity. Have a beautiful view of the oasis from all the way up here. In both directions, actually. We're tall enough to get a view all the way over in this direction as well. Really, really happy with how this is shaping up. Alright, and we have the basic floor up here with the one little glass window peeking out. You know, we're going to need to make like a balcony up here. We're going to need to do something super special up here, but for the time being, this is the top floor, the penthouse of our base. Here is how the tower is looking from the outside. Absolutely massive in scope. And then, of course, down at the bottom, we have our big sort of dam-like structure leading up into the tower. This base is looking super, super cool. Really pleased with how that tower is shaping up. And of course, let's go ahead and get our safety railing installed all the way up along the side here. There we go. We got our safety railing all the way up. That feels great, and just having these extra sort of walls of glass on the corner makes the whole thing just so much brighter and more interesting looking. I really, really love how this base is shaping up. This is really cool. For now, let's go ahead and move our campfire and a bed all the way up to the top floor. That is where we will be sleeping. Going to be a little bit of a barren place to sleep for now, but you know, we are of course going to deck this place out significantly once we have the time and materials to do so. Now it's just a lonely little room on top of the penthouse. Great view, can't complain about the view, but yeah, it is feeling a little empty in here, if that's for sure. You can even see our animals from up here. Speaking of animals, that is probably going to be our next project, getting them a nice permanent place to live. We can see the boards cracking under the pressure of all those sandstorms that have been coming through. We're going to need to get a better solution for our animals, that is for sure. Alright, and with our beautiful tower starting to take shape, you know, we're just sort of waiting on more materials at this point to get a final top floor all set up. Maybe we even extend this a little bit higher. We'll have to do a little bit more experimentation with our stability, but for the time being, let's go ahead and get to work on our next missions here. And I think it is about time we finally complete the Oasis Angler quest. We have been toying with this one for quite some time. Let's just go ahead, get this one taken care of once and for all. We will no longer be able to get more of the MXC preservation crates, but we have 10, and this will be 11 at this point, so we have more than enough. We have a heat wave coming in. Let's go ahead, head on down over to where we have that little temporary structure set up. It should be pretty beaten and battered from all the storms that have come through at this point. It's a good thing that we removed all of these benches out of there, because I'm sure they would have been destroyed by now. Let's go ahead, get those back in there, and get the first stage of this quest taken care of once and for all. Alright, here is our ruined little shack here. It is absolutely destroyed. Let's repair this thing up real quick here and get the benches down. And there we go. There is our first stage of the quest completed. We have one final delivery, one last MXC crate, and of course the insatiable blood claw. This time I think we'll actually take care of that guy. I'm just going to gather up these benches. We don't need them in here any longer. We're not actually going to be working out of this little fishing shack. Farewell to our little shack. It did us wonders. It is time to move on to bigger and better things. Grab up that post as well. Let's go ahead, take a dip in the water here, get a little bit of a cooling effect going on. Avoid some of this heat wave in the water here. And let's go ahead, take care of the blood claw, and get the last delivery of our fishing goods here. There's the blood claw right there. Let's get him. He's got a lot of health. I don't know if I want to waste all this ammo and durability on him. Oh, we got deadly poison here. Oh, didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. Let's get in the water here and pop a healing potion. Blood Claw is still chasing us, as well as like every other animal in the world here. Oh my. Yeah, we are in a little bit of trouble here. We have the whole universe on our tail here. Alright, we killed the blood claw. Used a little bit of a cheese method there in the water. Let's go ahead and grab our prize. Doesn't really drop anything of note. Make sure we don't get bitten by that fish. And let's head back to our base. That was a little more dangerous than I would have liked. But hey, that's why you have the meds in your bag, just in case. Let's get out of here, get back to our nice, cool base. It might be time for us to build a air conditioning unit as well for just such occasions. Alright, we are back at the base, triumphant over the blood claw. That was pretty risky. But inside, once we're sheltered, I do believe we should cool down a little bit here. We can also take a quick little shower in our sprinkler here, get a little extra cooling effect in the middle of this heat wave here. Stay nice and wet, let our body cool down, and make sure we reset that heat stroke debuff. There we go. Alright, so our heat wave exposure is going down. It's still pretty hot in here, but we have officially healed through it. Let's go ahead and get this stuff in here, and then of course our final MXC preservation crate here. And we still have 2 that we're not using, and this one we're also not using down here, and then we also still have 3 more in storage, so we have 4 more in storage plus 3 that we're not using. So that's 7 additional crates that we aren't even using at this point. But yeah, that is the first part of this quest. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the basic fishing bench down here in the kitchen. We're going to be making a lot of use out of this thing. Chopping up all the fish that we catch into fillets. We need to catch 30 oceanic piranhas, 20 triggerfish, 20 darters, 10 emeralds, and then cook all of those foods. It's going to be a lot of, mainly the fishing part is the main time-consuming part. Just catching the fillets that you need isn't as bad. But since we have so many of these traps, let me just stick a bunch of this stuff in here. Let's go ahead and take out a bunch of these traps. This should make the actual fishing portion of the mission much quicker. Of course, we want to do a little bit of fishing by hand as well, so let's get these lures out here. And let's go ahead and get all these traps just set up right here next to the base. These will do a good amount of work for us as far as just catching the fish that we need for the quest. So just like we did with the mission on Prometheus, you get a ton of these fishing traps down and they will make very quick work of the fishing portion. The bad part about it is that these traps do not count towards your bestiary progress. You actually do have to catch the fish by hand if you want to progress your bestiary's points. But when it comes to just finishing these missions off, these will get the job done very quickly. Let's get a few more down. Alright, there we go. All of the fishing traps that we gathered from all of our runs set up. These will start catching fish for us and counting towards our quest progress. We'll also be able to chop those up into the fillets that we'll need. And that is just a matter of waiting on those fishing traps right there. Let's go ahead and get a bunch more lures out here as well as one of our rods. And let's do a little bit of fishing the old-fashioned way as well. Now, this quest is going to take a little bit of time, but you know, as we are just standing here waiting for all these fish to catch up, we'll also be able to allow our deep drills to fill up with all those beautiful resources that we need. There's our first Titan triggerfish. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm getting a little nostalgic here. The last fishing quest that we had to do was when I decided that I was going to go for 100% completion of the game. We're definitely going to be working towards 100% of the achievements. I'm still not really sure if I'm going to do 100% of all of the bestiary and all of that. You know, the actual achievement in Steam requires a really decent amount of the bestiary to be 100% completed. So, you know, we do have a lot of work in the bestiary ahead of us as far as that goes. But let me know what you guys think about that. My goal in mind was 100% completion of all achievements. You know, the actual sort of banners and stuff, like mine 10,000 stone, mine 10,000 iron ore, things like that. Those will just take a huge amount of grinding. I'm not even sure if I would put them into a video. I think I would just sort of do like maybe a compilation of all of that. 100% completion of the bestiary and all of that stuff. But yeah, I think the first goal we have here is let's 100% all of the achievements here on Steam, and that'll be a really nice way to kick off the 100% journey here. Very nice. Alright, let's take a few of these fish that we've caught, stick them in one of our preservation crates down here. If we get anything worthwhile, like the Emerald Dorado, it's only 36% quality, but it is a rare fish. Now, if we get a really good one of these, we'll definitely want to mount it up. For the time being, I'm just going to chop up the Oceanic Piranha and the trigger fishes. We'll save maybe our best Emerald Dorado and best Silver Darter. But as far as the cooking process goes, you just stick your fish on the right side of the bench here, and they will automatically turn into fillets for you. And we are going to need a ton of these things, so we're just going to stick it in our preservation there. But yeah, 110 total fillets, I believe, if we look at the cooking that we require in the bottom. Dried saltwater fish we can do just in the smoker here. We're going to need a little bit of fuel for it, but that will take care of our dried. And then the fish chunk stew, we're going to actually have to manually hunt some fish to get all the chunks that we need. We'll need 35 of those things. And as we wait for our traps to do a lot of work for us, I'm going to go ahead and head on down to the little lake area down there and start catching the 35 fish chunks that we need. To get fish chunks, you can potentially get them as like a drop in your water wheels if you're fast enough to get there before they spoil. But the easiest way to get fish chunks is just to find the actual physical fish swimming around in the lakes and rivers, and just chop them up with your knife and you'll get your fish chunks that way. Alright, so let's dive in here. You can see we got a fish right here. You just gotta swim up and then harvest him and you get your fish chunk. And you know, you also can just use a bow. Honestly, I think I might just do that. Oh, we actually got an achievement for doing that. Catch a fish with a bow and arrow. Alright. But that's going to be much easier. If you have these piranhas, they'll actually come up to you. But pretty much any other fish is going to try and run away from you. So using the bow is probably your easiest bet. It's going to be a lot of durability out of your bow, but it's probably going to be worth it in the long run. Alright, there we go. 35 fish chunks. That is everything that we need. Maybe just grab one extra just in case as a buffer for spoiling here. And let's get back to the base. We've caught quite a few fish in those traps, as you can see. Oop. Got a cougar coming in too here. But as you can see, we've caught quite a few fish in our traps. Let's go ahead, head back, and we'll have more than enough fish chunks and more than enough of the saltwater fillets to craft up as well with all of the fish that we've caught. So for the recipes, I know that the saltwater sashimi takes carrots, which we have plenty of. I'm not sure what the fish chunk stew takes. I'll have to double check on that real quick. So fish chunk stew is corn and squash, so we have everything that we need for that. The sashimi takes carrots, as I was saying, so we have all the vegetables we need. The dried saltwater fish, we will be able to do here. Let's go ahead and get those in our preservation crate as well. Make sure they don't spoil. But as far as vegetables go, we have everything that we need. It's just a matter of getting the fish as well here. Go ahead and just fill our inventory with all the fish here out of the first few traps. We also finished the first objective there. Oceanic piranhas are all finished, so we don't need any more of those guys. Alright, so with that craft right there, we'll be done with the dried saltwater fillets. Now we just need to get to work on the other stuff here. Alright, we are just cranking through the objectives with our traps out there. We have everything completed except for the sea darters. Having all these traps just makes these fishing missions go so quickly. Super, super easy. We just have the sea darters to take care of now. 35 of these crafted up for the time being. We'll save one chunk just in case. But as we wait for all of our cooking to take place and the rest of our few fish to get caught here, let's head up to our penthouse and take a nice, well-deserved rest as we look over the beautiful desert from our awesome new bedroom. See you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful morning out here on Styx. We have all of our fishing traps filled to the brim with fish. We've completed every single fishing objective except for the sea darters, so just a few more fish to catch here. Let's go ahead and start emptying out the inventories here. Fresh seafood cooking to do first thing in the morning here. Alright, we are finished with the 35 fish chunk stews. Absolutely beautiful. Working on our 30 dried saltwater fish here. Making good progress on that. And then let's go ahead and craft up 15 sashimi while we're here. Be nice and quick to craft that. There we go. All of the sashimi is taken care of. Beautiful. All that leaves us with now is the dried and then grilled saltwater fillets, which should be pretty quick and easy to do. We need 30 of those. 30 of these. That will only take us 2 minutes. The longest one is by far going to be the dried. We still have 5 minutes and 40 seconds there. But we also need to catch 8 more sea darters. Oh, 7 more sea darters, never mind. So I think we're going to whip out the old trusty fishing rod here and do a little bit of manual fishing while we wait for the last few things to craft up here. Oh, we got a light sandstorm coming in. I think we're kind of taking it easy right now, doing just a little bit of fishing around the base, nice and calm activities. We are done with the grilled fish here. All 30 of them, 15 of those, 35 of these, and now we're just waiting on the dried. And we have more saltwater fish than we are ever going to need with all those traps. That's another good thing about this mission is if you like eating the fish meals, or perhaps if you have the pescatarian perk. Yeah, pescatarian is really far down the fishing tree, but it gives you 30% more effectiveness from your fish foods. So that is a nice perk, but it's super expensive to reach, unfortunately. Yeah, let's head on back out to our traps. See if we just can't get a few more sea darters as we wait for this storm to pass. Alright, just one more sea darter. Let's head back in the base, check in on our drying fish. We should be done with this quest any second now. Oh, and as I'm just doing a little bit of harvesting around the base here, we finished up the last fish catch. So we are officially done with this quest as soon as our Dried fish finishes up. That was super quick. Having all of those traps on hand really makes this a breeze of a quest. And our dried fish is also completed thanks to the power of the smoker. With that said, this quest is completely finished. Let's wait for this storm to pass and deliver all of our foods to the drop pod. Alright, and there's our drop pod. It looks like we have a crocodile camping it. Make sure we take care of him. Another croc coming in. Make sure we're safe here. Oh, my moa's gonna go into the water while the crocodiles are on the prowl here. Let him take a little drink there. Alright, let's get all of our foods in here. That should be everything. We have a lot of animals coming in, but that is 375 Ren, 300 exotics. Let's celebrate by doing a little bit of hunting here. Whoa! We are just attracting the entire desert here. Alright, there we go. That is every carcass. Might as well grab the bones as well here. Turn them all into epoxies. Alright, there we go. 300 bones, a bunch of meats, and 300 Ren and 300 exotics in the bank. That was a much simpler quest than it was last time I did it, thanks to all of the traps. So 100% would recommend farming the MXC crate a whole bunch, making sure to pick up those fishing traps as well every time you grab one of those MXC crates. And that way you can have an infinite supply of saltwater fish as well outside your base if you ever need it. And we just have a huge stockpile of saltwater fish sitting in all those traps. And yeah, we still have 4 of these crates completely unused. We aren't even using these to their full potential yet either. We farmed maybe a few too many of them, but I mean, honestly, these are such amazing items, you can't have too many of them. Super happy that I decided to farm that quest, and a little sad that we can't do it anymore. You know, once you complete a mission on an open world, you can no longer repeat it, so definitely keep that in mind. But with that said, let's take a look at the last mission that we have here in the Oasis. One more mission here on our home turf. This is Alcazar Construction. This one requires a lot of construction. I don't remember exactly what we need, but I do think we need something like 3 solar panels, like a fabricator, a bunch of advanced technology. So let's accept this and see exactly what it is we need.
You know, I've got a job for you, if you don't mind who you're working for. They got plans for this region, but no experience. They need someone to set up forward bases in the area before they send their people in. Should be a walk in the park. If the park was trying to kill you.
Alright, let's head on over. So the base site is that same little island that we built our fishing shack on. We'll take a look at what it is exactly that we need.
This is the place.
Alright.
Get building, friend.
Yeah, so it is a beast. So 4 solar panels, not 3. 2 water pumps, 1 chemistry station, 2 electric composters. Oh my gosh, that's like 120 steel or something like that. 2 kitchen benches, a powered fridge. We don't have one of those yet. A material processor and a biofuel stove. Yeah, it is an absolute beast. Of course, if we craft up 4 more solar panels, we're going to be able to make use of that in our main base, so that's always nice. All the other stuff we don't really have much of a use for. A powered fridge, you know, we can get away without that thanks to the preservation crates. Electric composters as well, you know, we don't really need compost for biofuel. Chemistry station we already have. Material processor we already have. We'll have to make a biofuel stove as well, and 1 more kitchen bench since we already have 1 of them in our storages. So yeah, a ton of crafting. I remembered it being quite a beast of a mission. Didn't remember exactly how beastly it was. So those 2 electric composters is, I think, 200 cement as well. Huge waste of cement, unfortunately. Oh, here's something else I haven't mentioned. So I built one of these new stone brick pieces. I'm experimenting to see how they might look along the bottom of the base. These stone bricks are actually pretty expensive in comparison to something like the clay bricks, but they do look pretty cool, so I think I might go with the stone brick as the foundation around our base. But with that said, let's take a look at what exactly we're going to need in terms of resources here. So I haven't even unlocked the electric composter on this character, but yes, it is 100 concrete, 60 steel, 20 electronics. That is so many resources down the drain for this quest. 200 concrete, 120 steel. We can deconstruct these for a little bit of that back after the fact, but yeah, it is a ton of material. That's so much of our precious silica going down the drain here. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do for the 100% completion. We're going for this mission. Let's go ahead and get 64 of those crafting up for now. We're gonna need more everything, pretty much. Stone, silica. We do have some in our storages here. Alright, that might tide us over for the 200 concrete. We have enough steel, but that will be pretty much every speck of steel we have to our name. So we're gonna have to make some more steel blooms, I feel like. Look at all these epoxies, that is awesome. Get those bones, and then let's make up 83 more blooms. That'll account for some of our loss of stock from this quest here. And of course, that's just 2 of the items. The 2 electric composters is 40 electronics. We have 100 spare electronics right now. Potentially what we can do is just craft up 1 more solar panel and just hook them up down there for this quest. Let our batteries take care of our energy needs while we finish this quest off. So maybe we just craft up 1 solar panel and use the 3 that we already have. The chemistry station, of course, we already have. That is beautiful. Kitchen bench, we do have 1 kitchen bench here, so we'll need a second one. Material processor, biofuel stove. Yeah, it is just going to be a ton of materials, so let me sort through my inventory, sort through all these recipes, and figure out exactly what we're going to need here. Alright, so we're going to get some more electronics going here. We have enough for 1 of our composters, so let's go ahead and get the 60 steel. Alright, here's the first of our 2 electric composters. Absolute beast of an item. Let's get it crafted up here. There's 1, and if we did destroy it, yeah, we would get half of our materials back, so now I think we will, after this mission, destroy maybe at least 1 of them and keep 1 of them. Our second kitchen bench there. Get the fridge that we don't need, unfortunate. Biofuel stove. 1 of the water pumps here. We're going to need 2 of these things. Alright, we'll get our 4th solar panel here. Very nice. That will actually come in handy for the base. Not a waste of materials at all. And then get our second extremely expensive electric composter crafted up here. That is a tragedy. Alright. We just need 1 more water pump at this point, I believe. Alright, and there is the water pump. Now let's get all of the things that we already have crafted pulled together here. Alright, so we have everything we need for the quest. Biofuel stove, chemistry bench, 2 composters, 2 kitchen benches, material processor fridge, 2 electric pumps. We'll have 4 solar panels. And that will be everything. So, first thing in the morning, we're going to get this quest taken care of. Let's go ahead, take 1 more rest. It was a day filled with crafting and spending our hard-earned resources. Let's go ahead, wash our hands here, and head on up to the penthouse for a nice night's sleep. See you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. So we have our basic little shack set up here to house all of our very expensive crafting benches. This should be supported enough. So let's go ahead and start placing these things down, make sure they don't collapse through the floors. These are very heavy benches here. Alright, looks like we're good to go. Let's get everything placed down here. And we're going to have to get it all wired up as well for the most part. Alright, now we just have to get our solar panels and water pumps, and then hook up the fridge and electric composters, and we'll be good to go. So let's just get these things hooked up here. And the solar panels we can just place right here for the time being. Very nice. Get these wired up. Powered composters, and now we just need the water pumps hooked up. So let's drag another wire, and we'll be done with this mission in just a moment here. There we go, Alcazar construction, 600 Ren, 300 exotics. Took a lot of resources. Fortunately, we had most of them already pulled together. But yeah, with that taken care of, let's get this whole thing deconstructed and all of these expensive benches back to our beautiful tower base over there. And just like that, we have officially completed every single mission in our home turf here. The Oasis missions are all complete. Now it is time for the real journey for us to break out of our comfort zone and venture far and wide all the way across the map to get the rest of the missions here on Styx completed. Let's of course first be sure to relieve our batteries of their duties here. Get all 4 of our solar panels down. There we go, all 4 of our beautiful solar panels working for us. We barely chipped into our reserve power from those batteries. Absolutely lovely. I guess I'll place one of these composters here. Yeah, we don't really use it for much other than just our 2 biofuel drills for the time being. And since we have spare cans, like, it really doesn't matter how quickly these things refuel. But, you know, if we have the device, we might as well make use of it. Alright, and if we stick in our compost, we can see it is much faster than the old one, that is for sure. But, you know, really, it isn't even a luxury, really. It's kind of just unnecessary, to be honest. If you have 2 spare cans for 2 drills, you can just rotate cans, so it really doesn't matter how fast they fuel up. If we ever do something like biofuel generators or something like that, then this will be a little bit more useful. For the time being, it is what it is. And as I'm recording this episode, a brand new update for Icarus just dropped, and this is a change in the crop system. So you can see, based on the tier of crop plot you have your crops planted in, they will be able to resist the effects of specific weather events. So in the wooden crop plot, it will be able to resist tier 2 storms or lower. Anything higher will start to damage your crops and reduce their yield when you harvest them, and potentially destroy them. There are also specific biome buffs and debuffs for crops. In the desert, I believe the crops wither more quickly. I don't remember exactly what their desert debuff is, but if you have your crops inside a greenhouse, the debuff associated with your biome is replaced with the greenhouse buff. So the necessity for having a greenhouse, depending on your biome, is much more significant now. So fortunately, we were able to beat that update by having a greenhouse set up before desert planted crops start to wither more quickly. And I believe certain crops can't even grow in the desert, depending on what crop you have planted. So only specific crops will be able to grow in specific biomes unless you have a greenhouse. For example, in the Arctic biome, if you plant a crop outside, it will not be able to grow at all. So in the Arctic, you will 100% need a greenhouse before you can even start farming. In addition to that, there are now new shovels that we can craft. I'm going to research and craft a titanium shovel here. You can see it gives us a 75% better yield from digging. So we'll be able to get a lot more sand using this thing. The absolute best shovel is the one from the workshop, but repairing a workshop item is extremely expensive and annoying to do, so I'm just going to go with the titanium shovel for now. Hopefully we'll be able to add attachments to shovels as well at some point, but for now let's craft up a titanium shovel and see how much sand we can get from that, and if we can use that as kind of a main way of crafting glass from now on. So let's go ahead and craft up a titanium shovel here. Very nice. A huge upgrade from the old one that we were using, the old iron shovel. If we start clicking the sand here, let's take a look at the model. The titanium shovel looks pretty similar to the iron one, but let's do a little digging here. And we're getting about 6 sand per click now, so it's almost 1 glass per click, which is much faster than what it used to be. And we're consuming less stamina with this tool equipped. It's still pretty slow going. Like, after all of the shoveling, we'll maybe be able to do 10 glass before our stamina runs out. There we go. So with that, that is 10 glass. I also noticed it's a different sound effect now when we're clicking here. Oh, so there is a patch of dirt right here. That's also something, I guess, to note. There is dirt available in the desert biome. You just have to look for the different sort of texture on the ground. I initially assumed that this was all sand, but there is dirt available here as well. But yeah, this is an option for crafting glass. You know, after all this clicking, we'll be able to make, what, 15 glass here. It's still very, very slow compared to just using silica. Hopefully, you know, we can get some attachments for the shovels as well. Currently, I don't believe there are any that we can equip to it. But something like a stamina cost reduction or click speed increase would be very much appreciated. But yeah, that is the new shovel and the new crop system. Very interesting new updates. When we start on a new sort of base out here on Styx, I definitely want to make another base. You know, things are going to be a little bit more difficult as far as getting our grow operation set up over there. And if you're dropping into a new prospect, a new planet, farming is going to be that much more difficult now. So definitely keep that in mind if you're planning on starting a new prospect anytime soon. Alright, and I made one additional floor on our tower here actually, so we have one more layer. It is 9 layers tall now on top of our already 2-layer tall building here. So it is looking absolutely majestic there. That thing is so awesome. I am really pleased with how this is turning out. And now we just need to work on building the top floor, making it, you know, a little bit wider. Maybe we have it sort of match the base of our building, so it's just sort of a core of a tower going up, and then another layer that's the full 7x7 at the top. I think that could look really awesome. But for now, this is the final shape of the, at least height of the tower. I'm super pleased with it. We have stability all the way up to the top. We're still in green stability, I believe. So we could potentially do the full 7x7. I'll have to experiment with the stability and see how far we can push it. But man, I think this is looking so cool. I'm really pleased with how this is shaping up. But yeah, with that said, I think that will wrap it up for today's episode. We got a lot of work done as usual. The double missions all completed and taken care of. We got our tower towering over the desert here, looking super nice. Really pleased with all that we've done and looking forward to continuing pushing through all the missions here on Styx. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I hope to see you all in the next one. And of course, I have to thank all of the amazing channel members as always. Thank you to Silo, Letitia Magal-Ues, Newly, Hein Groenwald, James Dodson, Fear This Juggalo 77, Jagged Power, Leo, Sylvan Dryad, Brutus, Richard Davidson, Jason 84, Dorset Viking, Cataline Muntianu, and Johnny 5. Thank you again to all of the channel members and for everybody who is watching the series. I hope you're enjoying Styx so far, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.